Hey, good evening. I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we're going to be listening to Time to Say Goodbye by Andrea Bocelli and Sarah Brightman featuring Ren Stillnight. So, I have not heard Ren Stillnight's voice before, at least I don't think I do. I'm not that great with names, I apologize. But I'm really excited to jump into this. This one was a donation request from Julie Ann, so thank you so much for this. I'm really excited to jump into it. And if you guys would like me to react to any particular song, my Venmo, my PayPal, and my Patreon are all links in the description below. Feel free to check those out, and I will be sure to get to those requests as soon as I can. I'm really excited to jump into this, as I mentioned, and I hope you guys are as well. So without any further delay, let's jump into it.
Sono sola, sogno all'orizzonte, mancano le parole. Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole.
Yeah, just something I love about that is just the fact that her phrasing is so legato. It would be very, very easy to separate each note, bum, 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 kind of feeling where it just feels so separated. But the fact that you get this, you just get this really legato, very connected feeling. And that's exactly what you need from this kind of phrasing. And you get this kind of phrasing a lot in Italian music, whether it be in recitatives, and an example of that could be from Mozart's Don Giovanni, where there's this entire opening section that Leporello sings. Io deggio ad ogni patto per sempre abbandonare questo bel matto, eccolo qui, guardate con quale indifferenza se ne viene. And you just feel this constant flow. Even though if I was performing it, I would change up the emotional core of what I just did, but I was trying to focus on the phrasing here, where it is still very connected, even though it can feel a lot more intense in what it is that he's actually saying, which is just him expressing his frustration toward Giovanni. But even then, using another example outside of just spoken/sung dialogue, like in an opera or a recitative, you can have things like Handel's Si tra I ceppi. Si tra I ceppi alla ritortella mia fe risplenderà. And you just feel this ebb and flow in the music where it feels very connected instead of si tra I ceppi alla. And that's so critical to Italian music because Italian music very much stresses vowels. And even though consonants are very important to obviously give meaning and structure to the word, vowels in Italian are so critical to execute well because it's not just for the integrity of the word, it's how you connect vowels and the ending consonants, of course, but how you connect all of the vowels and allow it to paint these beautiful colors in a musical phrase. And the fact that Ren here is doing such an amazing job connecting everything through the phrasing, through proper breath placement, which doesn't cut off any of the sound. It's really, really pinnacle and very good. Okay, that was a little weird. Say instead of say. Like, keeping the vowel bright but not munching down on it is really important. Oh, okay. I messed it up. It's E-I, say. Maybe keeping the E a little bit more open. Say. Instead of E.
Non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me.
That slide felt a little weird. Like, let's listen to that again. It's not very traditional for this type of music, so let's listen to it again.
Non ci sei tu con me.
Interesting. I'm not against it, but it is interesting.
Le finestre mostra tutto metti il mio cuore che hai acceso, chiudi dentro me.
Let's listen to that again.
Hai acceso, chiudi dentro me la luce che hai incontrato per strada.
Oh, that ah was so nice. Nice, open, directed through the mask. Ah. Yeah, I love that.
Hai incontrato per strada.
Yes.
Time to say goodbye.
Yeah. English is a really difficult language to sing in, and that's coming from a native English speaker. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I'd say, in terms of easiest languages to sing in, Italian, Spanish, and German, for me personally, are the easiest languages to sing in when you get the hang of them. English is really, really difficult because we have something called diphthongs, a lot of diphthongs in our language. And diphthongs are where you have one syllable that sounds like two different vowels. Like I, you have open ah, closed e, I. So in this case, for the word time, it would be really difficult to close onto the e, time. So I would just keep it open, and if you do need to include the e, just clip it on at the very end and don't even go too hard on it. Time. Or not at all. Time. But however it is that you choose to do it, closing down on the tie, that closed e sound feels a little constricted. Obviously not in terms of her voice, because it's still lovely, but perhaps a little bit too early and bright on the closing of that second half of the diphthong.
Time to
Yeah.
say goodbye. Paresi che non ho mai voluto
Oh, beautiful.
con te.
Just that ah, very beautiful, very well penned. It didn't just go bum, but it just flowed right up there and gently came down. Love that.
Mai voluto e pensato con te. Adesso sì rivivrò con te.
Yeah. And this is something else too. Her T's are a little too crisp for singing in Italian. The idea of a T would be more of a D. Like using Don Giovanni again, because that was the last opera I got to perform, so it's the most fresh in my mind. When one of the characters sings the line, "O capito," the T-O at the end of capito is capito. It's not, "O capito." It's, "O capito." You get a little bit softer of a T there, where it's not a full D, but it's not as crisp as an American T. And it's just something to keep in mind, because the crispness of that T doesn't necessarily ruin the integrity of the legato flow and beautiful penmanship that is the Italian language, but T's do create a certain crispness. And when you have something very round and very smooth, like singing in Italian, you want to maintain that through as many of the vowels and consonants as possible. So having something as crisp as a T doesn't necessarily, again, take you out of it, but it is something to be very aware of when you are singing in that language.
Adesso sì rivivrò con te.
But I do love her diction. How clean it is.
Su navi per mari.
I love her rolled R's.
Io lo so, non esistono più. It's time to say goodbye.
Quando sei lontana sognando l'orizzonte mancano le parole.
Oh, that was a beautiful taper. Oh, ne. And he didn't lose the support on the ne. He just let it taper out quickly and just leaving you in that state of awe. It's quite lovely.
Sogni all'orizzonte mancan le parole e io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mi alluni, tu sei.
I would have liked that to have been a little bit stronger there, but let's listen to that again.
Te mancan le parole e io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mi alluni.
Con me. Yeah, just having that be a little bit stronger. Maybe not necessarily louder and dynamic, but a little bit stronger in the breath, a little bit more resonant in his chest, I would have preferred. But I still understand exactly what he's going for here, which is this very tender, very soft approach to it. And I really do appreciate that approach to this particular section.
E io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mi alluni, tu sei qui con me. Mio sole, tu sei qui con me, con me, con me, con me. Time to say goodbye.
Yeah. This is something I really, really enjoy about Dan's voice, which is the fact that even though it sounds like his vibrato is a little bit slower here, it could just be that I don't necessarily remember Dan's vibrato all that well, because in my last Dan video, I commented on his rapid jaw movement in terms of generating vibrato, which everybody tells me is a very specific technique. It's not a technique I'm very familiar with. I see other vocalists do it, but it's not something that I really understand or really like seeing a lot of, but that's just me. For me personally, the way that I enjoy engaging with vibrato is making sure that the vibrato is from the breath, not from the jaw. When you have vibrato generated from the breath, it feels, at least to me, so much more foundationally strong. That spinning breath is constantly being circulated and vocalized and presented through my mask. So it ensures that I'm not having any jaw tension in my mandible, that the breath is expanding in my diaphragm, coming up through my chest, resonating in my chest, passing through my larynx, and being presented through my mask. So the fact that Dan is taking this much more tender approach and ensuring that the vibrato does come through his breath here instead of his jaw, and the fact that he is taking this more tender approach, but regardless of how he's doing it, I really love his technique and his vibrato here.
Say goodbye. I see che non ho mai venuto vissuto con te.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Ren, where his T's are very, very crisp, and I love the diction, don't get me wrong. I would just like those T's to be a little bit softer.
Adesso si vivrà con te.
Love his flipped R's.
Partirò su navi per mari che io non so, non esistono più.
Oh, I love the way he approached that. Where he understood the vowel that he was going to elongate, but still made sure that the PI was really well expressed and emphasized before transitioning into that ooh. Ah, lovely. Yeah.
Con te io vivrò, con te partirò su navi per mari che io non so,
Oh, yeah.
esistono più.
Love that approach.
Con te io vivrò, con te partirò.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, these two voices coming together here, because on one hand, you have Dan's voice, which is very broad and very open, and then you have Ren's voice, which is much more lyrical, softer, and more piercing. She focuses a lot of her sound through her mask, which is very good. It almost feels borderline nasal. So in her particular case, I don't know her voice that well, so I'm not at liberty to really critique it. But just something I would like to hear more of is a more broad sound in this particular context to match Dan. But I will say that with the given result that we have here, the contrast between their two voices, where Ren's voice is considerably softer, more lyric, and Dan's voice is more broad and more profound, the contrast is actually still audibly pleasing, and I really do appreciate that. So, still, really wonderful. All of these things I'm just nitpicking on. Oh, look at their... Oh, yes. On this note, it is so easy to create tongue tension because it's a higher note, and because of that, you might be trying to reach up for it. But the idea for high notes is that you feel more low to the ground. You feel so much more supported on those high notes. So the fact that their tongues are resting in their mandible, they're not shooting to the back of their throat, kind of feeling, but you really feel that strong support, that heaven and earth connection through that note. That's really well done on both of their ends. Really good stuff. Ah, yes. I love the fact that their vibratos matched so well at the end there. I don't think they cut off at the same time, though. Yeah, she went on a little bit longer, not as crisp as an M, but still wonderful.
Watching this video, and a big thank you to Ren Still Night for accepting singing with me. Make sure you go check her stuff. And this song is very special to me because it reminds me of my father a lot. We used to listen to Andrea Bocelli on the car all the time, and then he used to tell me stories about his Italian family, about how it reminded him of his mother singing in Italian, his grandmother cursing in Italian when she was mad at him. It's a very special song to me. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's a couple more videos for you to watch, and I'll see you again in a few days. Until then, have yourself an epic day.
Yeah, I really do enjoy that. Aside from a few of my critiques, which were more or less just nitpicky things, the execution, the phrasing, the diction, the approach, being able to sing with someone else, especially at the same time, is always very difficult, and I don't think people give artists and other musicians enough credit for that. Where if you're playing traditional instruments with other people, then it's about tuning your instruments well to the other instruments and then being able to play at the same time rhythmically. But ultimately, it will produce a similar, if not the same, sound that you want to have. But voices are so difficult to get right because you not only have natural and unique timbres to the unique individual, you also have natural vibratos that you need to be able to get under control. Or sometimes there are just voices that don't work well together, even if both voices are amazing in their own ways. So the fact that you have two very different voices that are able to come together and make beautiful music is wonderful. Like I was mentioning, for Ren's voice matching with Dan, it would be harder for me to imagine Dan lightening up his voice to match Ren's, which is why I gave the critique for Ren to have a more resonant sound in her voice and not be as lyrical as she is. Even though I'm sure that's her voice type, just being able to have a little bit more sound resonate in her chest as she's executing these notes, I think would benefit her greatly. But again, just nitpicking things, I think that it was still lovely overall. Again, the phrasing, beautiful, and I really think that both of them did this song justice. So Ren, Dan, awesome job, guys. I really respect this cover and really good job. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If y'all liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, even if I may not heart a reply to them, so please know that your comments do not go unnoticed. If you guys would like to see the full uncut version of this video with the full uninterrupted reaction, please check my link for my Patreon in the description below, where you can find not just this particular video, but all other videos, including Patreon exclusive videos. My live streams are currently Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so if you guys would like to stop by and say hey or ask any questions about myself or the channel, I'd be more than happy to be there for you guys. I want to take this time to appreciate all of you for being here. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you so much. And I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.